Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a much more sober episode of Friday Night WrestleCast. Yes,
Yeah.
I had to take it there right at the very beginning. I'm your host, Richard Billy Jr., and tonight I'm joined by Mr. Adam Vale. How's it going, Adam?
What's up, people? Sorry for the delay. I spilled coffee on my desk, so I'm still wiping up now. But yeah, that was a mess. That was a mess.
Well, hopefully, I understand it was a mess, but hopefully, just know one thing: it wasn't as bad as that Monday Night Raw segment with Bobby Lashley, because that was complete garbage. We're also joined by Miss Dana Abercrombie. How's it going, Dana?
Hello, everyone. More wrestling. Yay.
Absolutely. And we do have a returning guest. He has returned from being destroyed by Thanos' snap. We have Mr. Ricardo Negron. How's it going, Ricky?
Well, thanks to Thanos, I feel like half the man I used to be.
Half the man I used to be.
But yes, we're in for a fun WrestleCast today.
Absolutely. So, we do have a bit of a changing in the format, and we do have a very, very interesting, good topic that we're going to get into here in a little while. But before we do any of that, I'm going to pass the mic over to Dana so she can let us know some of the news stories from wrestling this week. So, Adam, cue the music.
Bom, 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 bom. Oh my God, here we go. Beep, boop.
Okay, let's start off with the libel and slander trial with WWE Dr. Chris Amon and CM Punk and Colt Cabana. It was delayed again. The civil case was scheduled on the docket for this Tuesday in Cook County, Illinois, but it's believed that the additional delays is because there's trying to get more evidence, and both attorneys on both sides now want to figure out how they're going to do their jury selection. So they took time off to figure all out the legalese of everything. So we'll have to wait until their next court date to find out what's going on in the jury selection. It's going to go to trial. They want it to go to trial. Punk's team is said to be working very hard on building a case. They're finding all the documents as possible. Even they're using the podcast as a form of evidence. But right now, everything is just in preparations. There's really no details other than that. They have said that there is zero settlement talks. So it'll just come down to the case.
Who's paying his legal fees for the doctor? Who's paying all these fees?
I would assume it is. It's WWE is paying his legal fees.
So this is WWE pushing all of this then. It's not the doctor, because if you think about it, it really wasn't much to it. That's why I still don't understand how Colt Cabana got into all this, because he was just a forum. He didn't say anything. He just let CM Punk vent about everything under the sun, and that's one of the things. Oh, he let people, wrestle while they were sick. He knew I had a staph infection. He didn't give a shit, So that's him. I still don't understand how he can throw a cult under this and to say, oh yeah, I'm going to go to a trial and stuff. Like, how much money are you making? So this really sucks that it's WWE doing all of this.
It is. It's WWE punishing anyone who wants to speak out against them. Also, remember, WWE is, the doctor through WWE is seeking $1 million in damages. And how it'll go down is that they want
over $1 million in just legal fees right now from all of this.
Yeah. Well, the thing also is that CM Punk is at the most risk for a jury verdict, and that the doctor would be forced to pay legal fees if Punk wins, which means WWE. So it's not coming out of the doctor's pocket at all. But if Punk loses, then he would have to pay all of the legal fees plus the $1 million. I don't know exactly how Colt, again, I don't know how he's involved in that, but he's being sued as well.
Well, Punk is definitely going to win. This is because this is his own experience, unless he bullshit the whole thing. And there's a lot of things he brought up, and he said, "Go ahead, watch the tape, and you'll see it." Like when he said that Kane was wrestling with a staph infection, he said you could see it, and I forgot what match he said. He said, "Go ahead, watch the tape. You'll see a big red lump on his back." Sure enough, I did, and there it was. And he starts talking about it. So, I mean, this is all from his account and what he had. So if they think, "Oh, you lied," well, no, I came to you and this is what you told me to do. So then it was just hearsay, I guess. What are you going to do at that point? This is almost similar to like someone saying, "Oh, you raped me." No, it was consensual. What do you mean? You two were the only ones in the room. So if it's just between CM Punk and the doctor, I don't know. I don't know how this gets solved.
Yeah, but the reason I believe that they drag Colt into this is because, they're just trying to put fear into podcasters.
Oh,
So,
please.
people
It's
coming
not
in.
podcasters. I mean, then you might as well go after news reporters and go after CNN and Fox and all the other ones, because all they do is gossip and talk shit about everything else. They just, as they say, we're just reporting the news. Hell, in this case, he didn't report shit. He just said, go ahead, talk. And that was it. So how is he in trouble for that? That's pointless. That's why I can't believe he's getting this far, because I don't see a case there, especially against Cole. I don't see a case there.
Yeah, I don't see it either, but that's what's gonna happen. So
that means technically, then they can come after us. Think about that.
yeah, they can come after it.
After we say, you know what? Yeah, I think that doctor did it. Yeah, you slander. You guys agreed. We're going after you. We're suing you. You said he was a bad doctor.
True. Very true. But yeah, who knows what'll happen? And it's going to go to court, and they're waiting for that trial and the jury. And I wonder if they'll get people who actually understand wrestling and infections and all that stuff. So it'll be very interesting to see. WWE has confirmed that Hall of Famer Shawn Michaels is making a return to wrestling. He will be in the UK. 52 years old. He's going to make his comeback at the Royal Albert Hall alongside his fellow legend and his old DX partner Triple H. So Triple H and Shawn Michaels together again. The date will be in London on Monday, June 18th for the WWE United Kingdom Championship Tournament. So if anyone is a Shawn Michaels fan, good news for you guys. Also, Alberto Del Rio is officially a U.S. citizen. Him, along with 500 immigrants, were sworn in. They got their citizenships. They met their full requirements, and now he is an Americano. So, now this is kind of weird. WWE is rumored to be snatching talent from anywhere they can. And it seems to have gotten very aggressive. And they started to sign indie talent with MLW since they just got their television deal. Now, the thing is that everyone is still under contract. Usually, they would approach wrestlers, and wait for their contract to expire, but they're doing it right now. So they're having a little bit of a back and forth going on between the two companies. MLW is pretty upset about what's happening. WWE is saying that it's fair game. They can basically do what they want, allegedly. Usually, in the past, WWE would back off, but right now, remember, they got that huge paycheck from Disney and from NBC, Universal, so they're going full steam at signing as much talent as they can. Sasha Banks just signed her new contract. She's going to stay with the WWE. It doesn't say for how long, nor does it say for the amount. 19 years ago today, well, not today, 2 days ago, Owen Hart passed away. So on May 23rd, 1999. And Bret Hart sent out a very beautiful tweet that said, "I miss you every day, Owen, and I vow to keep your memory alive despite the efforts to let you fade away." And we talked about this previously, about how Mark Henry really wanted Owen Hart to be in the Hall of Fame, but there was situations with the widow or the ex-wife, and that just doesn't seem like it's going to be possible. But that was a very nice tweet that Bret sent out. Now, in a very weird situation, it was during an NXT live event in Dallas on Friday. Chad was versus Ono, Now, it was a very typical house show. Everything was going very normal. The thing was that Cassius Ohno was scheduled to win. However, the fans went completely crazy and started cheering for Chad. And it got so loud that in the most
Chad?
Chad Lael?
Chad
Lael. Lail?
I don't know. And where was this? Where was this at?
Newbie. It was at a dark match. It's a house show.
Oh, okay.
So here was this newbie, and he's wrestling, Cassius Ohno. And basically, Ohno was scheduled to win just like normal. But the crowd went so berserk for Chad that they changed the whole ending. And they allowed for Chad to win. And it's reported it's like one of the first times that WWE listened to the fans.
Oh, shit. If only they could do that with Roman Reigns. Damn.
No, that's not going to happen. He's the big dog. It's his yard. So the crowd was very happy. I seriously don't think that decision will ever happen again, especially not with Roman Reigns or anyone
Was he a
else.
local? Maybe that was it. He was the local talent.
So Chad Lael, I just looked it up. He used to go under the name Gunner at TNA.
Oh,
That's his NXT name.
I didn't know he signed. Oh, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. He was a big name over in TNA.
It proves that WWE can listen to the fans. They just choose not to.
Oh well, it also depends on who is behind the scenes of that show.
Well,
you know what I mean? Like that's if it was Vince, I don't think Vince gives two shits.
No, Vince will continue to not care about anyone. Come on now.
Oh man.
So, now we have our pay-per-views that further proves that WWE does not care about its fans because it's determined to kill us all with too much product. Now, as you guys know, that they had the big deal with NBC Universal and with Fox, and they have, gajillions, they have billions of money is coming in, right? The deal is like $500 million for each network. So it's basically like, a billion. Anyway, because they have all this money now, they have decided that they are going to implement some immediate changes to their pay-per-view products. So now all WWE pay-per-views will begin 1 hour earlier. So that's at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I don't know what that is in other time zones because I'm lazy.
That's what they did for Mania. So for those not knowing, that's just Mania time.
So everything is going to have a Mania time. Mm-hmm. Okay? And they're also... So for the major 4 events, such as WrestleMania and SummerSlam and Royal Rumble and somebody else that I can't think of, I said SummerSlam. Anyway, the major ones, they're going to be running 5 hours long. So we're getting 4 hours regular pay-per-view. Then the big ones, we're getting 5 hours. And just so you know, that does not include the pre-shows for any of them. So, yay. So what they're breaking. So basically, the pay-per-views are about, like I said, 4 hours. And also, they said that for this upcoming, next year's upcoming WrestleMania, so it's going to be around, the pre-show itself is going to be, you're looking at least 6 hours for the pre-show. Okay? So prepare to stay up late and watch wrestling.
This is too much. It's too much. It's not all about the quantity. It's the quality, and that's what we need. We need quality matches. We don't need more segments of bullshit talking and stuff and doing that on the pay-per-views because that's what they're doing. They're adding a lot of those segments that they normally put on Raw and SmackDown into the product of the pay-per-view when the pay-per-view is supposed to be the culmination of all the feuds and let's just watch some fights. That's it, one after another. No, we're hearing more stories, more segments are coming out, and I think this is that bait and switch type of thing. It's like, oh, look, you're getting all these hours of entertainment. Oh, great. And then when they sit down and watch and people are like, hey, wait a minute, where's the actual match? What's going on here? But hey, look at all the hours of wrestling you get, more bang for your buck, right?
But this is what
one thing I want to add with this, we better not see a price increase for the WWE network. Because remember, those emails were sent out a while ago about the tier system. That has to be scrapped because we all know the buco bucks they're making now from their TV. So no.
I do sense a price increase coming. I mean, you're going to have a lot of hours of the wrestling.
They're making $1 billion for damn TV. Come on now. For SmackDown, $1 billion for SmackDown.
You don't think that they won't ask for more money?
No. I think because this news is going to be big. This news is big. This is with Fox Sports. Well, Fox as a whole. People are, the news is out there. Everybody has cell phones and has access to news. Back in the day, it wasn't like that. Now everybody can get breaking news on their alerts on their phone. And that $1 billion mark, that's a huge number. So all the outlets are throwing that out. Hey, guess what? Wrestling's now $1 billion industry on TV. And it's their second division show. You know what I mean? It's like, come on. When you hear that, and then what later we're going to find out? Oh, price increase. Come on. No.
Well, I think it was either Meltzer or Alvarez. One of them said that at this point, doesn't matter what WWE does as far as merchandise sales, pay-per-view sales, house show sales. None of that matters because they're good as far as the money that they're making through this TV deal. And then the network is also extra. They're making it's basically gravy for them at this point. They're in really good financial shape at this point. So, I mean, I could see them doing a price increase, but it would be a big mistake. I think they're fine as it is with the $9.99.
I wonder if how this could positively affect. Remember, they have the 220 rosters that they have so far. Plus, they're going after other talent. Plus, they're doing there's a big Saudi Arabia thing that they have planned again. They're going back to. So, will this be a positive step for actually seeing new faces that aren't Roman Reigns and, I don't know, Big Cass?
Yeah, yeah, I think it does. I had some people say, oh, this sucks, this is it, the products. This puts more emphasis on, I don't know if you're going to go into the deal. Are you going to talk about that, the Fox deal? I'm not sure how far you want to go with it. All right, so then I won't say anything. Go.
So, to me, so I'm kind of like, okay. Like, as long as we get new matches and new talent and they don't suck. But this also means that they can suck.
Well, they can't really suck because of that loophole with Fox. That if they feel at any point it's not living up to SmackDown, it's not living up to the expectations. I don't know what their expectations are. I'm sure they had set a certain number of viewers per month or whatever. But they said they can back out of that contract at any time. That's the clause.
Yeah, that's true as well.
So that's when I heard that, I was like, oh, well, then it's not going to be the same old SmackDown. They're going to have to step it up for two reasons. One, it's on basic TV now. Because I thought at first it was going to Fox Sports, and they were like, no, this is going to Fox, proper Fox. This is going to be like, for those in New York, your Fox 5 and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, this is it. So I'm like, oh, so you're going back on free TV like when it was on Channel 9, UPN 9 and all that. So that's a big deal. The time slot is horrible. It's always been horrible for them. It's horrible for almost any show during that 18 to 35 demographic. Friday night, no, nobody's home to watch that. So they're probably going to rely more on DVR ratings and watches and recordings because that's a horrible time for that demographic. Those people want to hang out. People want to go do stuff. And I remember in fact, speaking of UPN, that's when they were Friday Night SmackDown. And then when they moved off, they were like, oh, it was a blessing because it was a horrible time slot because of our demographic. Well, there you go. Now you're back in that spot. So the question is it going to be live or is it going to be taped? Is it 3 hours like the rumors are that the deal is for a 3-hour version? But regardless, I think they're probably going to have to step it up, and we're going to see big talent, big name matches, and there's no longer going to be that confusion of SmackDown is number one. Raw is number one, SmackDown number 2 show. I think they're going to have to be on par with each other just because it's on basic TV and also the money behind it. You got a lot of shareholders, a lot of people Fox are going to be watching like, hey, we want to see some numbers here. So.
Yep. So we'll get more into that in detail in a little bit. And also, there's only going to be 12 pay-per-views. But I find it very interesting that NXT has not changed anything at all. So, good for them. Let's see. Now we can get into the whole Fox thing. Yay! So, as you guys know already, Fox has officially signed a deal. Nope. Yep, they signed a deal for the SmackDown rights to SmackDown. And how it's going to be is that total it's over $1 billion for 5 years. So that breaks down to $205 million annually. The deal will be in effect in October 2019. Okay. Mm-hmm. Also, the NBC Universal deal, remember I said that they bought the rights to it 3 times what they paid last time. So they're very, very rich now. Now, the goal is, as Adam was saying, was that the deal is they have to improve the numbers. They have to find, viewership, or else they can cancel at any moment. This is not 5-year deal and then we cancel you. They can cancel at any moment at all, which means that now both of the brands have to perform. The thing is that with Raw, the slight difference is this. USA Network needs Raw because that is their highest rated show. People seem to only be watching USA Network for Raw, not for Todd Chrisley and all the other shows.
Well, Mr. Robot gets some viewers, but I don't think it's anywhere near the numbers of Raw.
Well, yeah, but Raw is a show that's on all year round, so
yeah.
That's the other advantage.
So Raw pulls in 3 million viewers every week. That is also another advantage. It's every day, it's every week. There's no offside. The thing is that SmackDown pulls in an average of 2.59 million viewers a week. They have to bring their numbers up because if we saw before, any program that's like 2 million or even 2.5 million or lower gets canceled. So the goal is they have to bring up their whole viewership, which means that they're going to be investing a lot of time, talent to make it not I don't want to say the A show, but just put it at that higher level. Everybody is operating on the same level. Although you all guys won't be, completely surprised if Raw ends up being lesser than, because remember, USA Network needs Raw. It's not the other way around. Fox is like, remember they just signed Thursday Night Football and they signed, I forgot what else. It was something else, another sports deal.
Well, I know they let go of the whole UFC because that's how this whole thing came about. Because Fox was trying to work out exclusivity rights with UFC, and they just couldn't come to terms on a price. So then Fox said, forget it. We'll just go in a new direction. And then they went with WWE. And this really sucks for the UFC fans. I was a big fan for a while until it started getting all chaotic with their programming. But they signed a deal with ESPN, and now, as you know, ESPN has a pay service. It's a $4.99 service, $7.99 if you want the on-demand function with it. And that's the ESPN Plus. And then they announced that they're going to move a lot of these live events to the pay service. Right. So it's like, damn. So now you're on ESPN, and a lot of these live events that they were doing are going to be on this paywall, and behind the paywall. So.
Yeah. The thing with that is for ESPN and UFC, they signed the 5-year deal for $750 million. They get 15 exclusive fight cards. So you're going to automatically get your 15 fight cards without the paywall. And that ESPN they took the whole entire UFC television rights package. That too is going to start in 2019. So also they're going to pay $300 million per year for a total of 30 fight cards that'll start in January 2009. So that's how it breaks down. So for the ESPN regular, you're going to get your 15 fight cards. For the ESPN Plus, you're going to get your 30 fight cards, and that'll start in January. So how they broke it slightly, yeah.
It all comes down to what's the fights that are on these cards. Are we going to see the up and coming matches free, and then the really high profile ones are going to be moved to Plus? That's going to be the question. But I know a lot of people were not happy. A lot of UFC, MMA fighting fans were like, I don't want to have to pay extra for anything. I didn't have to do that when it was on Fox.
Yeah.
You know, so whatever, this happens. I mean, I'm in that same boat, at least with soccer. My MLS, I love watching Major League Soccer, and then they switched to ESPN Plus, so all out of market games are on that shit. So I can't watch a lot of the teams that I like to watch because now I'm out of market for where I live, and they want me to pay the $4.99 a month. I'm not doing it. Not doing it. And that's just to watch it live. And I have kids, so can't always sit there and watch it. I have other things to do. So usually I would watch it on demand. Oh, you want on demand on this? Oh, you gotta pay $7.99 a month. You gotta pay extra for that. We only charge $4.99 to watch it live. Nickel and diming me. I was like, you know what? I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. And then on top of that, Fox signed, remember I said for the Thursday night football, they spent $3 billion for that for 5 years as well. So 5 seasons, basically. So the thing is that, as you guys can tell, they have plenty of money.
Where's the XFL? Did this get announced? Because I really thought the XFL was going to be part of this Fox deal of some way, like some kind of rights. Like, hey, don't worry, we'll air some of your football when that comes around. That was not mentioned at all in this?
No. They're still trying to figure out. They're trying to figure out teams, and they're trying to put everything together. They don't even have anything like a stadium, basically. So with them, everything is just really slow moving. Remember that they revealed that money was actually going in from WWE to pay for XFL, even though they said not. No, SEC found out anyway.
We knew that shit was going to happen, though.
Yeah, we do.
We knew.
But nothing has been said.
Well, so I guess we can conclude that these deals came right on time for Vince, so he could use some of that money to fund XFL.
Yeah.
Shit. And hopefully go get Matt Riddle. Oh, shit. Someone go hire Matt Riddle. Everybody look up Matt Riddle.
They just announced also that their applications are opening. So they open their applications now. They have a website. They opened it. If you're a player, if you want to do staff, they are open for business.
Wow.
So
you mean for players for the XFL? People can just apply?
You can just apply. Also, if you want to run staff, you can apply.
Yo, look at that. Yo, Rich, this is you. This is
hell
you
no.
right here. Work for the XFL, man. Make that shit happen in Atlanta.
Well, I will say this: I would never go to XFL because seeing how Vince treats the African American superstars on his product, I can only imagine how they will be treated in XFL.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Oh well, but before I get into that though, I will just say something else about this SmackDown deal. I personally am glad that Fox has agreed to be strict if they need to get these numbers up, because SmackDown has been okay since the new changes to the roster, the superstar shakeup, if you want to call it that. I think SmackDown has gotten a lot better. It looks promising based on the people that are on that roster now. Prior to the shakeup, though, that show was having some issues. So I would like to hope that it's going to get better, but I have to admit to you, knowing that they now have this deal, I fear that we may see even more people going to SmackDown, including Ricky's favorite wrestler, Roman Reigns. So I'm not looking forward to that. But,
No.
Oh, I think that's kind of inevitable.
Nope. And the only reason why I don't is because he's not a draw. He doesn't pull in the ratings. We know that. When they put his matches on at the end, the bump, they don't get that bump. You know who I do see coming back? Undertaker. I see Undertaker coming back, and they're going to put him on there. And when Cena ever hangs around, they're going to put him on there. They're going to sprinkle all those big names on there. We're stuck with Roman on Raw. I think that's it. He just doesn't bring in the numbers. That's the thing. Hell, they even hinted that over, in fact, this week at Raw when Stephanie came out. When she was like, you know what? They're trying to put the blame on, the store with the Kurt Angle. Oh, you've been giving him too many chances. You're giving Roman too many chances. He's getting too much time out here on this product.
Vince is notoriously stubborn is the thing. And I think that he's going to see this as an opportunity to get more eyes on Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Because this isn't cable. This is, basic television. And so,
Man, if that's all right, let's put on our Vince hat right here. He doesn't wear a hat, but if he did, let's put that on. Because he would think, I'm going to take old school. We're going back to regular TV, right? So regular TV are the common man. These are people that just don't buy cable. They just turn on the tube, sit down with a beer and a cigarette and smack the kids around and want to watch something on TV, right? Like, yeah, just shut up. Let me just drink my beer and watch some TV. Who do they know? Who do they want to see that they know? They know Hulk Hogan. That's right. Let's put Hulk Hogan on there. They're going to see him. They're going to know him. And they'll be like, yeah, that's the wrestling I know. And I'm telling you, that's when we're going to see Hogan back.
You know, he'd be wrong. Because remember, Fox changed their entire schedule, and it's nothing but like conservative type programming in sports. So Hogan could make that return, and it'll be perfectly.
And he is a huge name, and that's what I'm saying. He's such a big name that even for people that don't have cable, don't watch wrestling, all that stuff, they know Hogan, and they're like, "Oh, I'll tune. That's Hulk Hogan. That's from my generation. Yeah, let me go. Oh, what channel is that? I got. Oh, that's on regular TV. All right, I'll put that on. You know, I'm telling you, it's gonna be him.
Coming back would, be a huge thing just in general in ratings. Oh my God, they let him back in. Could you imagine that?
Oh yeah, damn right I could. Damn right I could.
Yeah.
But they got to start easing into that transition now. They got to start putting him on TV, do something, and then what? I don't know if you make him the general manager. You give him some kind of reoccurring role on SmackDown to guarantee that his ass is always on TV.
But wouldn't it work better if they just surprise the audience first and then he becomes the general manager, as opposed to just teasing him?
They got to get those ratings, though. They got to get people to tune in to know they're going to see him.
But we have social media now, so if he popped up, the whole would automatically know he's on, and then he would turn.
I'm just thinking that Vince is thinking of the generation that don't know about social media, that just use their cell phone as a phone.
Oh gosh.
I'm telling you, there's a lot of people out there. Put it this way, I just went to the dentist yesterday, talking to my dentist about people that go to dentists. She said she has people that are in their 40s, 50s that are just their first time go to the damn dentist. All right, they've never gone before that. She said, according to her numbers, from what she's heard in their community, there's a good 60% of Americans that just do not go to dentists and do not brush their damn teeth.
Wow.
Okay. So there's a lot of people that just don't follow up with the times of what we're doing in the world, especially with modern technology.
Jeez.
So that's why it doesn't surprise me if Vince says, you know what, I got to bring a big name from the past back. What big name is still alive there, still relevant, still worthy of putting on TV? I would have said Piper, but Piper's no longer with us. I would have said Macho Man. Macho Man's no longer with us. So who else? Ric Flair mumbles and stuff. We can't trust what's going to come out of that man's mouth. So what do we have nobody else. We have Hulk Hogan. You could probably squeeze in Hillbilly Jim. He has an XM radio station show and the whole thing, but I don't know if he's that big of a draw to do something like that. But we know Hogan could pull in numbers. So I wouldn't be surprised. And I wouldn't be surprised if they just make him the general manager. Just like they did with Kurt Angle. They make him the GM and they're like, oh, but what about Paige? Yeah, what about Paige? By then, that movie that your family's in, that'll be out. That'll be past and gone. They'll probably say, you know what? We'll find something else for you to do. We got a bigger name coming right now that needs a spotlight.
I don't even see that Paige movie like making any type of noise.
I saw the commercials for it when they showed it, and I would say, I don't know if it came out or if it's coming out.
I haven't heard anything else about it. Just that one little thing. Not even anything on regular TV, like on a commercial. Nothing.
That's what I'm saying. Like they gave all those commercials as if it was like coming soon, or well, how soon? Because I don't know anything about this.
Yeah, I haven't heard any release date either. So that's I don't know what to say about that. I do think you make a good point about Vince looking to a nostalgia act to get people in. We'll see what happens.
Release first. Just saying.
Here's another question. Besides what?
March 1st is the release date of next year.
March 1st. Oh man, that's way off. I'm surprised they even showed us any commercials for that. But here's my other question with this. So technically, WWE has a deal with Fox. Well, it's coming to be soon Fox, and definitely with NBC Universal. So are they going to compete on public TV like regular TV? What they basic TV it's called, with doing another main event. Remember when they used to do the Saturday night main events? Can they still do that? You know, so are we gonna have, you know, Friday Night Smackdown on Fox, and then during that broadcast they're going to advertise a Saturday night main event on a competing network, NBC?
Well, the thing is that along with the deal that was signed, because there was a third party that wanted in, they didn't say who the third party was, and they actually wanted to pay more than Fox, but they went with Fox because they said that Fox promised that they would heavily promote all of their shows.
It was Amazon.
Was it? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, then the thing is that they said they would heavily promote all of their shows. So I'm going to say, yeah, they're going to do that cross promotion.
Interesting.
If that's the stipulation, and you wanted to pay more than $1 billion
during the World Series, you know, you're going to get WWE wrestlers, you know, promoting the product and everything. And it's going to be a big eyes on the show. So
now also, is this going to cause an issue when the XFL does launch, and when they're advertising, oh, go watch XFL wherever the hell network is going to be on, and they're doing that on Fox, when Fox, like you said, just has this deal with the NFL as well. Are they going to approve that? Like, hey, wait. You're telling people, the 3 or close to 3, hopefully 3 million viewers watching your program, to tune away from our network for a Saturday NFL game to go watch a Saturday XFL game on Joe Schmo's network.
Well, if you'll remember, Vince McMahon swore up and down that he would not use WWE as a platform.
Fake news.
Well, we know he's a
Fake
damn liar. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Wow. These are good questions to ask. I don't really know what's going to happen with XFL. I don't really know how it. I mean, only way I know it's connected is because they obviously going to be using money from this deal to help fund that. But I don't know where that's going to end up in terms of a network. We'll have to wait and see once more details are released.
You know what I think we're going to see, and I think it's going to be interesting, and I wouldn't doubt if this happens and we see a show on the network, and if you do, then everybody just point, you heard it here first. We know WWE has this thing with former NFL players, or more like NFL players jumping in to WWE, right? We got a bunch of them in NXT now. Those two big diesel dudes that walked down with Flair during Mania, remember, they're a tag team over in XFL. Well, they were a tag team. Forgot their names, but former football guys. Let's say XFL launches. I wouldn't be surprised if one of these guys or someone in the development who was in the NFL, or Mojo Riley or somebody say, you know what? I want to get back into football. I want to get back on one of these XFL teams. What? Throw a camera on him. Let's film this. Put this on the network. Reality show. So-and-so trying to make it back into the world of football, you know, through the XFL. Do that whole thing. I could see that happening. And I could see if it does work, that could be the gimmick right there. Seeing people jumping ship going back to football.
That actually, I actually don't think that's a bad idea. And we already know some people that have already been in the NFL that made the transition, like Baron Corbin. That is another guy that I can see coming over after he has whatever he's going to do on Raw. If he has a title run or if he doesn't, then he can always go to doing that. So
Bronk. What's up with Bronk? Is anybody know? What's up with Brock? Is he coming or he's not coming?
Brock. Well, Brock who?
No, not Brock. Bronk, from
Gronkowski. You mean Gronk?
Yeah.
No. The Patriots are restructuring his deal. He's not going anywhere.
Oh, come on.
Well, at least not yet. Not yet. He ain't going nowhere.
Oh, they just did the deal. They're nearing contract. He's fine. He ain't going.
Wow.
Oh, well, I mean, he got enough time. I mean, the XFL ain't until 2020. You know, I don't know how long this deal is that he signed with the Patriots.
They're probably a 1-year deal extension. I can't see them giving him any more. I mean, the guy's banged up. He's a good player, but
yeah, exactly.
It's all about Hogan. So.
Oh gosh, no Hogan.
No, not Hogan. There's a Hogan on the team. I don't know what you call it. On the
Chris
Patriots.
Hogan.
Yeah, Chris Hogan.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens though with like I said, you know, I only like the deal because knowing that Fox can cancel the show if they think it does not quite meet the standards that they want the show to meet. because this is going to force Vince and them to actually, make this show worth watching. So we'll see what happens.
My thing is that with all its money you're getting, can we finally get Pyro back?
No. You're talking. I don't know if you've been to live shows, but when you're close, I've had seats where they were close to the entrance ramp, which is great because I want to see these guys come out and stuff. And like a year ago, wound up getting those type of seats for a SmackDown. Those pyros blowing up and stuff, popping my eardrums. Everyone's screaming around me, kids freaking out. Don't need that because you never know when it's gonna happen, And then it's like it comes out. We're like, oh shit. No, I'm okay with them not bringing that back.
That's a nice paycheck from WWE. If anything happens, you can pay yourself like a good year. So, I say Pyro.
We'll see.
I say the Goldberg sparklers, the Gilbert. Remember? I'm cool with that. Bring the little sparklers back. That's okay with. I could see that.
Well, so we'll see what happens. But I can guarantee you one thing, and that is that there will be some people getting cut from WWE. That's we know that for a fact.
Well, they had the rumor that in June, I believe the 29th of June, WWE is going to start their annual Koalition. So let's see what happens.
That it's going to happen, and you would think, oh, well, they got all this money. Nope, they're going to still get rid of people. So that's
because sometimes it's not even about the money; it's just about the quality of talent. I mean, we all know there's certain guys that just shouldn't be on that roster anymore. Or any of those rosters. If they don't invest time in redeveloping them, then cut them. I
agree.
And then use that money to go get Matt Riddle and Jeff Cobb. There we go. Matanza. Break that freaking. I love Lucha Underground. It's coming back. I'm excited, but man, Jeff Cobb is an amazing wrestler.
I have heard that they were interested. They are interested in some people in Lucha Underground. So I don't know how valid that particular information is. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Go ahead, Dana.
No, I was gonna just say that Lucha is coming back. Remember, John Morrison is gonna. No, he's in the other one.
He's there. Lucha. No, he's in Lucha.
No, not Lucha. I confused Lucha with New Japan for 5 seconds.
Oh, okay.
But Lucha is going to come back. They announced that the air date is going to be June 13th.
That's soon.
Yeah, soon. That's why we got to get some cross promotion going on with them. Get that started.
Yeah.
That is true.
Awesome.
And that there will be 22 episodes. So, yay.
All right, now we know. Before it was like 24, 26. It swinged around. Oh, yeah. But that's cool.
22 is good. Okay, let's get as much as we can. 22 is fine.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so is that it for the SmackDown topic?
That is it for the SmackDown. We covered SmackDown and MMA and everything else.
Okay, so I just want to make a quick comment, and this may not be something that drags on for too long, but I am curious to hear what the rest of you all think. First and foremost, thank you for the news, Dana. There's a lot of information to recap, so thank you for that.
You're welcome.
So, in regards to the overall thing about creating a quality product, I definitely want to say this because I do have an issue with this. Monday Night Raw, we saw the Bobby Lashley, Sami Zayn promo. And I just think, a lot of times we had this stuff where we say Vince, he does questionable things with the writing. It's this mentality still portraying the blacks in a negative light. And once again, I go back to what happened on the show, and I see that whole segment. And first and foremost, it was a horrible segment. We're not going to address the racial stuff quite yet, but first and foremost, just from what was presented, it was a horrible segment all around. Horrible acting, horrible writing, everything. Now, when you get into the whole racial stuff, the fact that you had this whole thing about Lashley's sisters, but they're actually guys dressed up as women. And then, of course, they get manhandled by Lashley. Now, what I don't understand about the gimmick, aside from the racial stuff, which you think is just completely tone deaf and retarded, is that, everyone already knows Sami Zayn, he has no chance in hell of winning any matches against Lashley. And if this is a feud, obviously we know who's going to win the feud. So I'm not understanding how they're using Lashley. So I wanted to get you guys' thoughts on the promo. What you did you enjoy it? Were you inspired, or do you think it was garbage like I thought it was garbage? And Dana, how about you go first? Because I'm very curious to hear what you have to say about this.
It was the best thing I've ever seen on television in my entire life. I tell you, I was just so fixated. I was just speechless. Oh gosh, no, this was hot trash, garbage, juice, and everything else in between. This was so disrespectful. And as much as I can't stand Bobby Lashley, and you guys already know that I just can't, like, this is presence. Like, ugh. Anywho, this was disrespectful to him coming back, to his entire legacy, to everything that he built up, to him just even being born. It was just disrespectful. And it also proves to me that WWE doesn't know what to do with him. This was something that I don't even, it felt like, one, it was already recycled. They've done this type of things before. But it's just something about WWE's history of them with the cross-dressing of black men. And it was just beyond horrible, to the point where you see Bobby Lashley and his face is just like, why the heck did I even come back to WWE? I don't even know why I'm here anymore. My thing is that also, on top of that, it was just poorly conceived. It doesn't even make any sense. And remember how we had like Bayley and that whole situation, like This Is Your Life, I believe last year? This was worse than the whole Bayley This Is Your Life, because it made Lashley just look like a complete clown and an idiot. And I'm just sitting there and I'm watching it, and even Sami Zayn, his whole face was like, you know, like pained in between. I don't understand what they're trying to do. I don't understand how they're trying to build him. This was just something they would have never in 1,000 years pulled this off with Brock Lesnar. So I don't get what they're doing. I'm so confused by the whole way how they even booked this. So yeah, and then you're trying to groom him as being like the next Brock Lesnar, and this is what they do to him. And what they should have did is just have him, going through all of his matches with like great force and, domination. But remember how we saw, I believe, during the pay-per-view, he couldn't even lift a guy without completely collapsing.
Yep, Kevin Owens. I saw that. Yep.
And Kevin Owens didn't get any fatter, so it's just like, really? Yeah. What's going on here? So it's terrible booking with Lashley, and Lashley itself is like, he doesn't even seem to have any type of emotion to want to even be there. So it's just a combination of them just throwing something together at the end of the day. So I think they just need to throw the whole thing away, including Bobby Lashley.
Yeah, I have to agree. And now I want to go to Adam, because Adam was the one that was saying, hey, Bobby Lashley is coming.
I don't agree. You understand why they signed him and why they signed a lot of these guys? Because they were free agents. So it's not so much of, well, we need you now because we got these plans. It's like, shit, if we don't sign him now because we know we can do something with him down the road, we're going to lose that, because Bobby Lashley was a big name, still is a big name. He's big in MMA, has a great record in MMA. Was it 15-2 or something like that? And he's a big guy. He could have easily went to Japan. He has that look. So when his contract came up, everybody knew they're going to sign him. And then sure enough, they picked up him and Drew. So it's like, okay, they're there. What are they going to do with him? I'm sure creative don't really know right now what to do with him. They just know that, hey, he's coming in. Because remember, creative, they're creative. They don't have that type of access. If anybody ever listened to Bruce Pritchard's show, who was former creative, he even says it. He was like, somebody come in, hey, Vince are coming. We're bringing so and so. This and this. Squeeze them in. Do some. Okay. Well, shoot. We got to find something. And I think this is it. They're going with an old style gimmick of these BS things of like with the drag and all that stuff. That's the part I don't get. Like I saw it, I didn't give two shits. But I saw online people were really upset that they were doing this whole drag thing going on. I don't get why they were so upset. This is just something that they've done many, many times before. So it's not a big deal. Is the story great? No. I mean, there's a lot of different ways they could have went. They still haven't mentioned really on television that he was a former ECW champion. He was their last ECW champ. But I guess they don't want to bring up ECW, even though that was their product. That was the show that they had on Sci-Fi for a few years. So I don't know why they don't piggyback off of that. That's an easy piggyback. I was like, hey, we're bringing back a former champ and this and that, and show some of those things. No, you have him sitting down with Renee talking about weird moments with his sisters and goofing about it. That made no damn sense. Why are they doing that? And Bobby's getting a big check from this because remember he didn't go after them. They came after him.
Oh yeah, it's all about the money.
It's all about the money. So I mean, some people are like, damn, I can't believe they're doing this. Whatever, it's money. I mean, he's not the one in the dress. Always remember that. He's not the one in the dress. There was another guy in the dress back in the day. Remember Big Vito? And he was supposed to wear a freaking dress every time he came down to the ring, and that was not a gimmick. They just had him wear the damn dress. He never sold it. It's as if he wasn't even wearing the dress, but he had to wear it.
Yeah. No, I definitely remember that.
Yeah. But that's the thing with Bobby. I feel like the end, we all know what the end result is going to be. It's going to be him kicking this guy's ass, Sami Zayn's ass, to get over. And then from there, they're going to branch off to something else. I just hope that they figure something out and that this is not what he's left doing, just circling around doing these super low matches. Because I really thought they were going to bring him in as the Destroyer. Like this is the big force, and they didn't do that. They just threw him in the mix. I'm like, he'll find his way. Not the first time they've done this. They did this with Rob Van Dam too. They bring him in and they sprinkle him here and there, and sometimes he's winning big matches, sometimes he's losing easy matches. He was here, he was there, he would be gone for a while, he would pop up at a Rumble. You know what I mean? It's like, what are you doing with him? This would be technically a top guy, and they just never saw him that way. Or Triple H, I should say, never saw him that way, since he never laid down to Triple H. Triple H didn't like him. So that's a whole other thing. But I just hope it progresses. And maybe it's a slow burn. I don't know how long his contract is. I don't know if it's a 3-year deal. Usually they give like 2-3-year deals. If it is something like that, there's no rush. There's no rush. There's no rush to treat him special or do any of that stuff, because it's not like, like with Brock has another place to go. He wants to go to UFC and then whole thing. So it's constantly like holding him back. It's like having that wild dog that wants to go chase after somebody. You keep holding him back, because if you don't, he will run. And so I think that's why they keep doing what they're doing with Brock. But man, I felt bad. It was a garbage segment.
Oh no, I agree. So there are a few quick comments I want to make. I'm pretty sure Dana had to make some as well, so I won't be long. I will say this: I fully understand why people were angry with the segment, and it's because of two things. First and foremost, you look at how they have portrayed the African American wrestlers on Raw, in wrestling in general for the last several decades. You always got the guys always got to be out there dancing, juking and jiving, laughing. You had New Day with the pancakes. So that's part of it. Now you go to this extreme of them dressing up as women. There are a lot of famous comedians who have had things where they've said, when they asked me to put on a dress, I said no. I believe Dave Chappelle talked about this before in his stand-up, because it's like, just the way that you were portrayed. You got to look at the way that comes off to everyone else that's looking at that, especially little kids growing up who are thinking about WWE and stuff like that. So I understand why people was angry, especially when you see.
But who were these guys in the dress? Like, they were just local wrestlers, right? They weren't anyone big.
That's the thing. I have no idea who the hell they were, actually. I don't think they've I haven't really researched that, so I don't know who they were. I just know. I thought to myself, from the segment standpoint, it made no sense, because you talk about the sisters. So I figured they were going to get some women to do that. But then, of course, with the whole thing of Bobby Lashley. Well, no, he has to manhandle and take them out afterwards. So yeah, that was a little ridiculous. And the other comment I was going to make is for them not knowing what to do with Lashley, based on what I have seen on the product for like the last several months, it looks like they don't know what to do with anybody. You got Roman Reigns in a feud with Jinder Mahal. People are cheering for Jinder Mahal instead of Roman Reigns.
But I think they did that because Jinder is a heel and he gets a lot of heat, especially on SmackDown. He used to get a lot of heat, so they figured, then this will be easy to give some pop for Roman, and it's backfiring on them.
Yeah, and then of course they do this whole thing where we know Reigns isn't getting a positive response, so let's put him with other people who are getting a response, like Seth Rollins. They keep going back to the same formula, trying to get this guy over one way or another, and I just laugh. The whole segment with this whole thing, Roman against the Authority. We know this is not the same. This is not the same thing where it was Austin against the Authority. This is not the same thing, but they want it to be so bad. You just can't help but laugh. So
not to get off the topic of the Roman bashing, because trust me, it's one of my favorite pastimes. But
yes,
the Bobby Lashley thing really makes me think, because if you think about what they're doing right now with Titus O'Neil, making him look like a fool. They have Apollo Crews as in that group, look like a fool. New Day, they're all legit talents, but they look like fools.
But New Day chose that. That's the thing. New Day, they picked that. That was their choice for that.
I mean, I'll say that they chose that. I mean, did they choose the unicorns and the pancakes and all that?
I think that's all. Yeah, they said that's all their creative. They come up with it and they just let them do it.
Well, I mean,
the thing about that, I'll make a quick comment. You go back, Ricky. The thing about that, they choose that because that's fine, but they are going to have to be the ones that live with this at the end of the day when they have kids. We know Kofi has kids, so when the kid is growing up and he's seeing the type of character that his father portrays on TV, well, that's a conversation you're going to have with your kid later to explain that stuff, because it is stereotyping. But damn, it is what it is. So go ahead, Ricky.
Same thing.
No, I agree, and that the whole thing with having the men in drag like that, it's demeaning. It's very demeaning, and like you said, like you don't see that happening with some of the other guys. It's just it rubbed me the wrong way. It really does. But
well, I believe Dana had something else that she wanted to say as well. So go ahead, Dana.
My thing is this: what is the segment supposed to do, just in general?
It was to embarrass him. That was it, and it didn't work because no one gave a shit.
It was just like the Bailey and
Alexa Bliss
Bailey thing, Alexa Bliss thing, and all it did was embarrass everyone.
That's it.
Was it to put Sammy over? Was it to get Bobby over?
Nothing.
Because
it's to get Bobby over. That he's going against a heel. The heel's trying to make fun of him and insult his family. So you're trying to insult my family because it's clearly. I mean, if he had women come out there and do it, then it's like, oh, maybe those are sisters. I don't know. It was clear that these were men in drag. They weren't really dressed up. They just had some wigs and dresses on. So it was just it's embarrassing. So that's what it was all about. And even when Bobby came out, he's like, oh yeah, this is funny, right? This is a good ha-ha moment. This is what you want. And that's the whole thing. It wasn't a ha-ha moment, but if anything, that could have been a nod to creative in the back. So you think this is funny? This is your ha-ha moment? This wasn't funny.
I just want to ask a very quick question, and I'll go right back to you, Dana. Maybe you guys can confirm this because I don't know. Wasn't the whole reason Lashley left in the beginning was because he didn't like the way that they were portraying his character?
He was out on injury, and when it was time to come back, he didn't like first he had a lot of issues with Michael Hayes. Right? Michael Hayes is on creative. Michael Hayes is still part of creative. And he didn't like a lot of the things that he had him write and say, just the way he was being booked and being used. He just didn't like that feeling. So he knew he had options out there, and he said, I'm leaving. And so he left. He broke out of his contract, and he left.
Okay.
So for him to come back, that's why I figured they went after him for this. So I figured, well, that he probably has something in his contract, or maybe they do have something in mind, future down the road. Hey, we're going to build you up. You know, I mean, he's got great relationships with Paul Heyman. You know, there's a big working relationship with Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman loves him and had all kinds of plans. You know, and I think that stems back from the ECW days when Paul Lee was still in charge of ECW. But I think man, that's the thing. You can't predict a day by day. You know, no wrestler when they sign a contract can predict a day by day, a week by week. This is what I'm going to be doing. You know, all you know is you're going to be on TV and to show up. Mm-hmm. And once you get there and you see that, all right, well, I'm feuding with Sami Zayn. Okay, yeah, that sounds cool, whatever. And he's all right, this is what's going to happen. He's going to make fun of your sisters, right? And we got these local guys. They're going to be in drag and they're going to be out there and they're going to be doing, oh, really? What do? It's a squash. You go out there, you toss these dudes around, you get your hands on Sammy, you toss this, and that's it. It's a quick segment. You know, we're just trying to get you over. You know, Sammy's a heel. He's been a heel from SmackDown. It's a quick get over. Okay, whatever. And even his performance in the ring was very nonchalant. Like, this is it. This is what you got. That's why I feel like that was like a genuine response. Like, what is this shit? You know, all right, whatever. Because he was a top guy in Impact. It was the guy. I mean, what's it? Man, American. What's it? American Top Team, because that's his MMA team. He would come down to the ring with them. You know, he had his whole crew with him. You know, in that show. So it's kind of sucks to see he's doing these type of segments. You know, but I feel like it's got to be some end goal. You know, I'm absolutely sure that he didn't sign them, you know, down the line just to get some money. There's got to be some guarantee that he is going to be a top guy, that he's coming back for a reason. He was a top guy when he left, you know, and he left for valid reasons. And if they go back on these reasons, you know, then it's a smack in the face. Yeah. You know, for what? Insult him? Is that what you're doing? That you have money like that? It's like, oh, we're bringing him back, and then we're going to put him in really bad gimmicks. I mean, it's not just him that's part of this. Think about it. Sami Zayn had to conduct the whole thing. He was the orchestra, you know, in this segment. You think he wanted to do this?
Oh, I'm pretty sure he didn't want to do this.
No, you know, and I'm sure the other guys, the guys that were there, they were like, well, it's a paycheck, you know, and I'm on TV, so whatever.
Yeah, that's true.
So, it sucks for everybody involved if you think about it. There was no win-win on anything. No one got out of this with a win.
I agree.
You know, the fans definitely didn't, because no one liked it. No one cared. You know, and you know what's funny? I can remember way back when they were giving the Bobby Lashley the babyface push and talking about his military career, because he was in the military. You know, and he boxed and did all this stuff, and you know, they really hyped him up. He was a man's man, from you know, a soldier man. This whole big thing, you know. And I'm surprised they didn't just go with that. Instead, they're going around talking about his sisters, and that was out of left field. Who cares about why are we talking about this man's sisters? Think about it. When was the last time you heard him talk about any other wrestlers' family members? We don't hear about wives. We don't hear about children besides the Miz, because he just had one. But besides that, we don't hear about other people's. You know, what the hell was going on with the sisters? I don't get it. Unless, and this is in the back of my mind, one of them is going to be a wrestler, and one of them is coming in as a wrestler. That was the only thing. But I was baffled why they decided to go down that road. You know, talk about the other stuff. Talk about his achievements, you know, in ECW, and talk about all that other. You know, she could have did all that, but no, let's talk about your sisters.
Yeah, I don't know. Dana, did you have anything else you wanted to mention regarding this topic, or?
No, I mean, you're going to give a guy that kind of segment and he doesn't even have a finisher, then I guess that's the segment he deserves.
He needs a jackhammer. He needs a jackhammer. He doesn't need the stalling duplex. The jackhammer is perfect for him. He just lifts him up and drops him down. You don't have to keep him walking around and do that.
He couldn't even do that during the pay-per-view, so he doesn't have a finisher.
Oh, oh boy.
Absolutely. All right, so let's now.
Is a spear a finisher, really?
Spear.
A lot of people do the spear. Is that a proper finisher?
Well, yeah. For Roman Reigns, it's called the big dog spear.
Because we got who else? We have Rhino. He does it. It's called the gore. It's a spear. We had Edge do it, right?
Goldberg.
He does it, but he would hit him with it and then pick them up and do the jackhammer for the pin.
Right.
That was a lead up.
Charlotte does the spear, but she doesn't use that to finish
spear.
either.
Finisher.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? Oh God.
Moose. Remember Moose? I don't know if you remember. He's not in WWE. He was in Ring of Honor, but he does a nasty looking spear. He like throws his body around. You know, he's an Impact, but yeah, he does a spear. I don't know. I feel like it's just a tackle.
Yeah.
It should be used as a lead up, sort of like the way Goldberg did. Like you hit the guy to knock him down.
I mean, if you remember, Jake the Snake Roberts made the DDT famous, and now it's a standard move.
No, exactly. The DDT should be a finisher, especially if you know how to sell it. The way Rob Van Dam would sell the DDT, oh my God, where he was on his head. Yeah. You remember that? When he would take it, he's like vertical up in the air. I'm like, oh man, that was awesome.
Oh yeah, it makes all the difference when it looks like you just got completely planted with it. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's back as a finisher with Tiana Almas. Almas does it.
I was gonna say Alexa.
Yeah, Alexa does it.
She does it, but Almas does a variation of the DDT.
Yep. He keeps the arms. He wraps the arms behind him, holds them, and then he drops them, which is great because it's like there's no protection. It looks like it's just straight head to mat.
Yeah, looks brutal.
And Mick Foley, when he did his, it was a double arm underhook type DDT. Remember, so it was the same type of thing. Lock your arms behind and just drop you in your face.
Yep, and that's we got variations of that with Drew McIntyre with the Future Shock DDT, Dean Ambrose with the Dirty Deeds. But Jake the Snake had a very standard DDT that still looked awesome when he did it. And moves like that now pretty standard though. If you think about like
super kick,
yep. Dolph Ziggler spams
everybody. Yeah, a lot of people just doing a super kick all over the place. I don't know what makes a finisher. That should be another show. What really qualifies as a finisher?
The magic behind it, because Rhino.
When I think of a finisher, I think of like a tombstone. God damn, that's a finisher. You shouldn't be getting up from something like that. The man just flipped you upside down and dropped you on your head. That's a finisher.
That's true.
There's no getting up from that. A sleeper hold. I mean, no one really does sleeper holds anymore. Like the way Ted DiBiase used to do it.
Oh, $1 Million Dream, yeah.
Yeah, the $1 Million Dream. No one does that anymore. I mean, we got the
Piper did a standard sleeper.
Yeah, he did standard sleeper, but we got the Kina clutch.
Didn't Shayna? That's how she won against. Was it Ember?
She was choking her. She was in the sleeper. It was a one-arm choke.
Oh.
She was just choking her out, and then that was it. She was out. But I'm saying someone that actually has that constantly. That was just like survival.
Yeah, choke out.
Yeah, it was a choke out. That wasn't like, all right, my finisher is, putting you out. I like the way the $1 Million Man would do it, and I don't know. That's a whole other topic, but there goes that. Hopefully everything works out for Bobby. That's all I hope for. I mean, both Bobbies. Bobby Roode's in bad shape right now too. Story-wise in limbo land. So.
Yeah, that's why I say they don't think they have a really good idea of what they're.
But that's part of the shakeup. I mean, the shakeup also shook up the creative team because a lot of the shit they wrote gets all thrown out the window because they don't even really know fully what's happening.
Well, I will make a recommendation. If the creative team never gets it together, perhaps that's who needs to get released at the end of June. Creative. Goodbye. Yes.
It's gonna be tough. It's so tough. It's a hard job. I can imagine just being in those boardrooms because besides the Vince, I mean, you got 200 plus wrestlers that you have to write stories and scripts, and you have to have everything timed because there are segments for different shows, and everybody has their own segments and the network, and then your build-ups and whoever. Then once you pass this off to Vince reviews it and like, no, yes, no, rewrite. It's like, okay, then what the hell we do? Because let's say if I did a whole tree structure of, Rich, I want you to have this feud, and then that feud is going to lead to this big match, and then a title match, and we have all these segments written out, and then it goes to Vince, and he says no, he doesn't like any of it. Then you have to go back to the drawing board, not just for you, but for all the other people that you were going to feud with leading up to that title match. Absolutely. It just sucks, and not like they have a lot of time because they're filming for 3 live shows, right? Because you have SmackDown, Raw, and 205.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think the only one that has a dedicated separate team is NXT. You know, I don't know. I mean, if anybody else out there knows if there's a separate team for SmackDown 205, let me know. But from what I understand, it's the same staff writing for those 3 shows.
Yeah, I'm not sure. That's a good,
So
that's a good point.
That's
We'll have
just
to see.
a lot. That's just a lot. You know, it's there is no other soap opera out there that deals with this type of stuff. I mean, you have all these daytime dramas, so they have like maybe 10, 12 people, you know, at any one time that you have to write about the story wise. That doesn't compare to what WWE has.
That's true. No, you're right. You're right. Well, we'll see.
You know,
All
and
right,
then, one last thing about it's just amazing that it's even going. If you think about it, like this is like a juggernaut of wrestling. We're seeing so much wrestling from one organization. Yeah, I'm surprised that they are able to juggle all this without things falling.
That and they continue to add on more stuff. You know, the UK tournament, all this other stuff that they're doing. So I don't know, man. They got a lot going on.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's shift gears now to our main topic for this evening. This will be a nice little fun topic. You know, obviously, everybody who is familiar with the website, you know, we primarily cover video games and entertainment. You know, E3 is coming up here in a couple of weeks. I will not be on the WrestleCast scheduled for June 8th because I'll actually be in LA that night for E3. So we figured that we wanted to talk a little bit about video games here tonight, in particular wrestling video games, and just give our thoughts on some of the best and worst wrestling video games of all time. Now, I will say this. We didn't talk about, I didn't talk with any of you guys prior to recording, so I have no idea what you're going to say in terms of what some of your picks are, which will make it very interesting because you may not know what I'm going to say, but yeah, we should start talking about some of the games we thought were the best, you know, at least in terms of what we have played or had an opportunity to play for all this period of time. So, Dana, I'm going to have you start off first. I don't know how many picks that you have in terms of, we initially said we were going to do 10. I don't even think that everybody here has 10. So how about you start us off, Dana, and let us know some of your picks for the best wrestling games that you've had a chance to play.
No Mercy. 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 Oh, look, 10. No. Well, yeah. No Mercy, obviously. That's my one and only first love right there. Then I'm gonna have to go with a little bit of the SmackDown. Here Comes the Pain. Remember when Ukes was making really good games?
Mm-hmm.
Then when I have to have a little bit of the Fire Pro Wrestling Returns. That was good. I'm not gonna think about that. Remember the PCW NWO Revenge?
Yep.
That was pretty decent. The SmackDown Know Your Role, SmackDown 2 Know Your Role game. Again, another Ukes. Ukes used to be really good. I'm gonna also say a little bit of the let's see, a little bit of 2K14.
Uh-oh. Okay,
Just
a quick question. What was the big draw with that game? Because I forget.
This was another use. Remember we had the great story mode. It was the story mode, and it had a lot of the WrestleMania matches. Also, the roster for me was really good. Remember Goldberg was there. Also, there was the streak mode. We don't have streak mode anymore. Remember streak mode? And remember that was I think that was tied to Undertaker. So for me, it was I like that. So Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with that. And then also I'm gonna throw in a little bit of the I said 14. I just said that. Um let's see. I'm gonna also throw in a little bit of no, that was are we doing worse? Or just starting off with best.
Oh well, we'll only talk about the best for right now. We'll get to
Okay.
worse. We'll definitely get to worse.
That's mine. That's mine for me.
Okay, cool. All right, some
Oh,
great picks.
all stars, all stars.
Oh yes, yes, yeah.
That was pretty darn good.
I know another very good friend that listens to this podcast. I'm gonna give him a shout out, Mr. Carl Daniel. He actually reviewed that game on the website. I know he was a huge fan of that game. So, yeah, I still haven't had a chance to play it, but it looks fun, so I have to play it at some point in time.
It was so good. That was a good one.
I got to check it out. But yeah,
everything else, No Mercy. No Mercy's number one.
Oh yeah, I figured No Mercy had to be number one because that's I'm pretty sure that's going to be number one. Well, I don't know if it's going to be number one on Adam's list, but yeah, it's going to be number one on a couple of lists. But go ahead, Adam. What are your picks for the best?
I got a few. Tecmo Pro Wrestling for the NES. Loved it. Starman, Malibu, Amazon. That was awesome. That was an awesome wrestling game. Did you ever play that? Tecmo Pro Wrestling, you know, and you go to do the finisher, and you would see like in a slow mo of like the twirling of a big spin all around. You could dive out of the ring and stuff. That was awesome. Love that one. Of course, No Mercy. That's a classic. The mechanics, the roster that one had, also the WCW NWO. That was a great one. You know, that had a lot of great characters in that one. That was also a fun one. I actually have a 2K one that was on my list, WWE 2K14. And the reason why that one's on my list, the reason why 14, I don't know if she had 14. That's the one with the rock on the front?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Well, my reason for having it is because you could, at least on the Xbox 360, you can import your own music. So I would get my creative guys, all the creative wrestlers that I had, and a lot of them from other federations stuff, download their theme song, put it on a CD, put that in my 360, and import it into the game, which you can't do anymore. But that was awesome. So I would import. So when they would come down, they had their official theme song, you know, coming down to the ring. And it was great, especially for like old guys that were no longer with the WWE to put them back in, and they had all their moves, like, you know, movesets, Hardy Boys, all that stuff, and I could put their music, you know. So for me, that was another one. Fire Pro Wrestling, almost all of them. It's just so fun. That brings back the memory of WWF Superstars that was in the arcade. Love that game. That's a classic arcade game. You can play it on Meme. It never really did much with it after that, but just that gameplay, you know, the just grab, do a quick move. It's like, you know, sort of 60-bit, you know, like drop the guy. Oh, ooh. That was fun, you know. Oh man, I just had another one that I'm drawing a blank. Wait, my Fire Pro. There was another one. I had one. Oh, and the Superstars, the All Stars. WWE All Stars, that over the top. I still play that on my 3DS.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I still have that on my 3DS. Still play that. That is a fun game. You know, the finishers, the over the top moves. You know, that had a great roster with it. You know, it was awesome. It's a fun game to play.
I have to check that out.
And a throwback one, because I never really got to play it besides the MAME. I mean, that was an arcade. WrestleFest.
Yes.
WrestleFest was awesome. You know, that's my main go-to guy was the $1 Million Man, because he had that power bomb. I mean, not the power slam, the 180 power slam where he would just grab him, and sort of like what Randy Orton does now. But he would use that as a build-up to a finisher. It was awesome. You know, so yeah, WrestleFest, love that one. So yeah, those are my top wrestling games that I loved playing. You know, and the only one out of all of them that I still play is All Stars.
Wow, I didn't even know. Oh, okay, yeah. That's cool. Excellent picks. Okay, I'm gonna shift gears now. So Ricky, do you have any games that you know that you think that you've enjoyed playing growing up as a kid? Any wrestling games?
Oh man, I had a lot, and you guys have mentioned a couple. WrestleFest, definitely one. Mr. Perfect was my go-to because I loved using the Perfect Plex You know, it was a move that goes right to the pin, so it made things kind of easy for me, especially if I was doing the Royal Rumble mode. So that was always fun. WCW NWO Revenge was actually my favorite N64 game. True story, I didn't get to really enjoy No Mercy like everyone else did, and the reason why is because...
Oh, shit, that was what I forgot. Sorry, real quick, Def Jam Vendetta. There you go.
Technically that does count. Yeah,
that does count. That's right. Because I remember I was like, damn, there was one game that was wrestling, but it was still sort of outside the box because that was still used. The No Mercy engine they were using for.
Yeah, and you know what? You took my surprise, Adam. So I'm gonna get you for that after.
Sorry, that was it. But not Icon. Icon was horrible, but man, Vendetta was awesome. All right, you keep going.
Yeah, go ahead, Ricky.
Okay, yeah. So the true story with No Mercy was that when it was released in, for Christmas of that year, the first batch of No Mercy games were buggy, and they had a bug where it would kill the save that you have after a certain amount of time. So any progress you made in story mode or any creative wrestlers you made or any kind of modifications were all wiped out to factory default at random. So I didn't really get to enjoy No Mercy like everyone else did. But I did get WrestleMania 2000 before that, which was also a whole lot of fun. I just really loved AKI's, engine and all the customization that you can do. But I think Revenge was the one I got the most mileage out of all those games. I used to before I had the game myself, I rented it a lot from Blockbuster just to play it. I don't know if you guys. I don't think this has been mentioned up. I don't know if you guys remember the WrestleMania arcade game.
Didn't like it. I remember that. That was when you would run down, and if you're on the table, you would start hitting them over the head with tombstones. It was like a weird Mortal Kombat.
Oh, and you have like different you'd hit him, and there'd like ravens coming out of his hand or something like that.
Yeah, it was weird. Doink had his own little thing. Oh.
It was definitely not your typical wrestling game, but it was, it was silly fun. But let's see. What else? I have quite a few. WWF Warzone for N64. Now it wasn't like I'll say that Acclaim's engine that they used wasn't really that great, but I did get a kick out of doing the created wrestlers on there. That was always fun to do, and I remember that I would go to the library and print out other people's created wrestler formulas so I could do them at home. And so that was all fun. Let's see. Out of mentioning any of the Pukes titles, I'll say WWE 12, and for the same reasons that Adam mentioned, that you had the option with the Xbox 360 to change the entrance themes for the wrestlers, and I remember doing that and having fun with that. Really, trying to get the games all updated and all that.
And there's a way they can do that now. I understand they don't want to do the whole thing with putting discs and all that, but let's say if they say, oh, well, next game you can link up with Spotify or something. A lot of themes are on Spotify. A lot of those, Impact put their Impact songs on there, and other companies, and you could Bullet Club, all that stuff. So that would be cool if you could link up and then just like tag the tracks to it, bring them up, for the wrestlers. So.
Oh, I agree. It'd be cool.
Not getting 19, but whatever. Just saying, if they did do something like that, it could be interesting.
Going way back, a couple of NES games, Pro Wrestling.
That was it, Tecmo. Tecmo Pro Wrestling.
Was it Tecmo? No, I don't know if it was
Tecmo. Tecmo Pro Wrestling, yeah.
No, this wasn't Tecmo. No.
What the hell was it?
No, because this is Pro Wrestling. It had Starman. It had the Amazon.
That's it. That's them. Tecmo Pro Wrestling.
No, are you sure? Because I don't think it was under the Tecmo banner.
I'm looking up now. because I remember it as Tecmo Pro Wrestling, and that had Starman and everybody in it.
Let's see. Yeah, let's see this. Let's see. Well, yeah. So while you're looking that up, another game was WWF WrestleMania, which was the first WWF game released, and it had Honky Tonk Man and Andre the Giant and Macho Man. Macho Man was my favorite one on there. And I feel bad because I know there's a few games I'm forgetting, but
I'm sorry. So I did a search for it, and there's apparently an indie wrestler who goes by the name Starman, and he has the gimmick with the star on his mask and everything.
Oh, for real? That's awesome. That's awesome. I love. That's cool, but yeah. This had Giant Panther, and I used to play as either Starman or Giant Panther in that game, and I remember like Amazon, like one of his moves was he'll bite your face. It was wild. Yeah.
I'm gonna type in. Let's see.
I don't know if I could think of anything else. I'll definitely pass it along.
Did you play the Def Jam games? Was that one that you played, or you didn't play that one?
I didn't get a chance to play that. You know, a funny thing was that I don't know how I came across it, but like I want to say that it was when I used to work for a library, and like I think someone dropped off a Def Jam Vendetta disc by accident rather than a movie, and they never claimed it, so I brought it home, but it didn't play because I think it was all scratched up. It was unfortunate, but yeah. Oh, that's all I've got for now.
You know what? I think you're right. I'm looking this up, and I think you're right. There is a Tecmo World Wrestling, but then what I remember as pro wrestling with Starman, yeah, it is just NES. It was just pro wrestling. Mm-hmm. I don't know why I kept linking it up with the Tecmo, because it was Tecmo World Wrestling, and I guess because I had that one as well.
Yeah.
And it looks similar, but actually it looks a little better, but it wasn't. But there you go. Yep.
Some excellent picks. All right, so my list, there's a lot of what you guys mentioned, a few others. So first and foremost, I do have two throwbacks. WrestleFest, yeah, 100% agree on that, because I recall times that I would go to the arcade. This is the game that I always played, if it was actually there. Yeah. As for the favorite wrestler, yeah, I also enjoyed Mr. Perfect as well as Jake the Snake. So
yeah, I think that he was my number 2. Yeah,
and I believe, it was great. I think Macho Man was in that as well. Correct?
I think I'm not sure if Macho Man was in.
I know Ultimate Warrior was in it.
He was a superstar.
Andre the Giant was in it too. Hold on, let me see. WWF. All right, I'll look that up. Keep going.
But yeah, that was a fun game. Another game that I played that's also a throwback, and I used to play this game because, you know, every time when my parents took trips to New York, I needed something to play. That is WWF Superstars. I recall I would always fire up my Game Boy, play that game over and over again, because I enjoyed wrestling a lot at that, you know, when I was much younger. I mean, I still enjoy it to some extent, but yeah, that was just one game that I really enjoyed playing.
Oh yeah, that's the one that it had Hogan, Macho, and Warrior on the cover. I had that game too. Yeah,
Yep. That was fun. That was a
fun game. Yeah.
Oh no, go ahead. You saying?
No, I was like, I had that. I didn't play it the other day, but I have that on my Game Boy still. My 1989 Game Boy.
Oh yeah. It's a lot. It's old. It's old. So I'm telling my age right there. But yeah, it's all good. Yeah, played that. So as for the other games, yes, WWE Smackdown, Here Comes the Pain. That was another great one that I enjoyed. Of course, you guys already mentioned Def Jam Vendetta. I know some people will say, well, that is not really a WWE wrestling game, but yeah, it is the same engine. You know,
it was wrestling. There was a ring. One of the matches types. I mean, yeah, you were in parking lots and stuff, but there was a ring.
And I
tag.
Oh yeah, and I enjoyed, the rest of the rappers had their little. The music was fantastic. The finishing moves is what I laughed at.
Oh, it was awesome. Bone Crusher. Oh,
Yeah,
man,
that was awesome. Also, I'll give a nod to Def Jam Fight for New York because that was the sequel that came out after.
that was all right. Yeah.
I enjoyed that, but it will not beat the first game. That first game definitely it's on its own level. Of course, WCW NWO Revenge, again, another game you guys already mentioned. What I liked about that game was not only the fact that they had the the story modes where you go after the title, but they also had the 40-man battle royal, something that I still haven't seen in any of these 2K games. They have the Royal Rumble, but 40 men, that was something special. So I enjoyed that. WWF WrestleMania 2000, that was another one that I enjoyed. I believe that was in 64. I'm trying to save the best for last.
Have you mentioned SmackDown Just Bring It? Because I thought that was a fun game too.
I didn't mention that. That was a fun game though. Yeah,
that was from 2001. That he had some pretty wild backstage fights, and everything. It was a fun party game, if anything.
All right, so real quick, WrestleFest, no Macho Man. They did have Demolition and Legion of Doom.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Macho Man was in Superstars, which was before that.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Earthquake. That's right. I remember Earthquake had that pretty cool finisher in the game too.
Yeah, I do remember Earthquake.
So real quick, the roster was Undertaker, Ultimate Warrior, Mr. Perfect, Hulk Hogan, Earthquake, Ted DiBiase, Jake the Snake, Big Boss Man, Sergeant Slaughter, Smash and Crush, Demolition, and then Hawk and Animal.
Yeah, because remember you would get the title shot if you kept winning the tag matches.
Yeah.
Wait, for you're talking about WrestleFest?
WrestleFest. Yeah, WrestleFest.
Undertaker wasn't on WrestleFest.
Wait, you're right. Nope, no Undertaker. That's right. No Undertaker.
What's going on, Adam, man?
What's going on, man? I just want to add Undertaker to everything.
Don't put Adam.
You know what it was? Because I'm looking at his image, and somebody actually imposed him on this. I could send it to you.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
You know what it is also, and I don't know if you might be seeing this by accident, is that WWE tried to reboot the WrestleFest brand by putting it as a mobile game. Like they did that about 4 years ago, and it sucked.
That's not the one that's with the jewels, right? Whatever that's like Candy Crush.
Oh no! I don't know.
What's that?
I know what you're talking about. The Candy Crush version one. That's not. Yeah. That's not it.
I don't play any of those. The only card game. Well, yeah, I just gave it away. It was a card game. WWE did that Superstars or something like that. Super Cards. Super Cards. I did that for a little bit because I was like, oh, this is kind of fun, and then I was like, oh, this is pointless. The cards dance around and smack into each other. I'm like, really? That's what we're doing here? You can't just have me just pick the cards and then just do a botch match or something with wrestlers. I have to see weird cards flipping around on top of each other. That's dumb.
Oh dear, never mind.
I didn't like that. I didn't like that because we see a lot of card games integrated into games, and one of them is that can come to mind. We have the FIFA Ultimate Team, and then Mutt from Madden. That same thing is you put these cards and you build these squads, but at least you get to play them. You actually get to play the game with these players. You see it. I felt like they should have did something like that, but never did. Whatever.
Yeah, that's all right.
I like the one with the gyms, the matching the gyms one.
That's the one I was talking about. It was like a Candy Crush type version,
Yeah,
but
like
with
that.
wrestling. You like that one?
It's good to pass the time. It's not something that you're gonna sit and dedicate toward.
Yeah.
Remember the time.
So I have 2 more to mention. So No Mercy, I think we can agree that is by far a standard that still hasn't been matched. And I don't really know if it's ever going to be matched, quite honestly. No. So that is that's at the top of the list. However, I have to say this, and I said this before we started recording. This game, I I don't know what the hell is going on with 2K. They need to make sure that this is something that they put into their next game. And I'm talking about GM mode from WWE Smackdown vs. Raw 2008. Because what I did is, you know, I remember playing that a lot, but I had to get a refresher as to why I enjoyed that game. And then when I fire up and I look at a recent video, just to get an idea, to be reminded, they really had it together with the way they put together that GM mode. It is absolutely fascinating because you had, of course, you had to worry about managing the roster. You had to worry about the superstars that were fatigued. If somebody got injured, then you had to worry about, well, they can easily go to the competition because you're competing. They had Raw, SmackDown, and ECW, and you're all competing together for ratings. And then even down to the storyline. Like you can pick a storyline and pick which wrestlers you want involved in the storyline and have it play out over the course of a couple of weeks, and then you get a rating for it. Stuff like that. You know, I'm like, they really were ahead of the curve with that. So I don't know why they haven't brought GM mode into the current games, because it felt like if SmackDown was going against Raw, you have this whole brand split thing. It feel like that's something that should be in the current games. But I don't know. But that game, man, I enjoyed the hell out of that game. Now, it was not perfect because I recall sometimes it was very easy for the wrestlers to get injured, and then you wouldn't necessarily know when they came back, or right as soon as they came back, now they were being targeted by other brands to pick up instead. So it wasn't perfect, but the way they handled GM mode, we need to see that come back at some point in time. It just makes sense.
Just get rid. I mean, we could do a whole show on what we think 2K19 should really have.
Oh, don't worry. We definitely are going to do that show.
Or what they really should do. Like, what happened to all these spinoffs? What happened? I mean, people don't say. Besides that, we didn't talk about it because it didn't make our list. But there was that Legends game. Remember that one? That came out. That was one of the ones, and that was like supposedly like the simplified version of the wrestling game. It was very simple controls, almost No Mercy like, not quite, but it had like the over the top design for the wrestlers. That was kind of fun to play. And then we had All Stars also come within that time, and that dominated. That was badass. It definitely had that arcade feel. What happened to that? Why do we have to go for all this realism? Get that? Why can't we just go back to what works? Why can't they say, you know what? Fire Pro is killing it still. People love Fire Pro. We could easily make something like that, and we have one of the biggest license agreements right now with a pro wrestling company. We can do this. Make one happen. I don't get it. They shit on the bed when they did the damn one for Switch. That screwed me out.
Yep.
No damn refunds. Make something like that, and you can have it work perfectly on it. Like right now, if you type in Fire Pro, just Fire Pro Wrestling, and you see there's like bulletin board people flipping out. They want that on the Switch because that's a wrestling game they know will definitely work on the Switch, and it'll be fun to play on the Switch. Play it mobile. They make another one of those type of games, but with the WWE. I can't get it. I mean, we're seeing all these damn Battle Royale knockoffs. Fucking knock off the, Fire Pro with WWE. Do it. You know it works. Instead, we're getting all these horrible versions of the 2K games. It's just so bad. Story modes is horrible. I try to play over the weekend. So if you play the career mode, you go into the arena. It's the same damn arena every time you go. Doesn't matter what show you're damn on. It's Raw, SmackDown. It's the same show. But you go to production. You hear some bullshit dialogue about, who do you want to fight now? Go to the wall. You go to the fight. You go to the wall just to say okay, because it's not like you could change anything. Then after that, you're like, all right, it's going to load up. No. It tells you, now go to the parking lot. Leave the arena or talk to people. You go, you leave the arena. Then there's a load screen. Another load screen to load back in. You go to production, do the same damn thing. Then he tells you, hey, go talk to somebody out in the hall. You go to talk to somebody. So maybe they want to play with you, like, work in the tag match. Maybe they don't. Maybe they want to challenge you. You select that. Go back to production. Oh, you're going to have a match? Nope. Get out. Go to arena. Then you go back to the car. Another load screen. Then you go into the match. It's like, all right, I'm going to have my match. I'm coming down. Guy ran in. He hit me. They ring the bell. No match. Another load screen. Go back to the backstage, talk to production. Oh, it didn't work out this time. Maybe next time. Then back to another load screen. Now you got to leave, get back in the limo. What the hell is this shit? It was garbage. Then I'm like, oh, go shoot a promo. I'm tired of it. It was so bad.
That was amazing.
That's how it is.
Yeah, I was like, this is some bullshit. I mean, come on now. It's got to be a better way. But like we keep talking about it, there's no way that they could really speed up production when they only have like 9 months to freaking work and spit out another game. They don't really have a full year to do it. So unless they have a secret team working on a new engine separate.
No,
they don't. So we're screwed.
And,
we're
and,
always
and,
just gonna get these little updates.
And quite honestly, like I said, we will do a show for about 2K9, but I will say this: quite honestly, the upcoming game for this year, I expect that game to be even worse than this past year, because they don't have to worry about that quite as much. This is Take-Two. They have Red Dead Redemption coming out this same year. So obviously they got that coming out. You got NBA 2K coming out. This WWE game is going to be garbage. I could make that prediction right now. But hey, hopefully I'm wrong. But we'll see. We'll see. So since we have already shifted gears to talk about the worst, Dana, I cannot wait to hear what are your picks for the worst wrestling games that you've had a chance to play.
2K19, 2K18, 2K17, 2K16, all the 2Ks except for the ones that I like. No, the one that I would have to say that I'm like was really excited for and then got extremely depressed because of just how gosh awful it was the TNA Impact game. For the 360. That one came out, and the thing was that the graphics for that time was pretty decent. They were rather good. They did the whole special scans for their faces that they do now. So they really did tap into that technology a little bit earlier than WWE did. But other than that, the game was just really horrible. It glitched so terrible. The story mode was just awful. Then remember, like, when you played, like, the background was just, it was like just, it felt like they just put it in, like, at the last moment. And the crowd thing was just, gosh darn awful. And the thing that when you would play it, like, it started out as being pretty okay. They had like their finishing moves, and they had some of the good animation, but then it just died. It was just some like really limited, really botchy, really glitchy, and you never could get into that game because it was just gosh awful. The Royal Rumble for Dreamcast was again pretty darn bad. I think that was for Sega. I'm not sure. Yeah, that one was not good at all, at least for me. Also, oh gosh, it was oh gosh, remember the NES game, the Steel Cage Challenge with Hulk Hogan?
Yes, I remember Steel Cage Challenge. That was their second NES game under the WWF brand. I know that was an LJN title. It sucked.
Yeah, it was bad. That whole thing was just, and the thing was that the idea was really good, but everything was just really bad. The graphics was bad. The gameplay was bad. Even the cage was just ugly, and everything just looked like little blobs. So yeah, that was pretty bad. I didn't like that at all. Let's see. Also, remember, I'm not sure if anyone remembers the Simpsons one. Remember when the Simpsons came out? It was like Simpsons Wrestling. It was like the 2000s, like the early 2000s, no?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You guys are like, no, I don't remember.
Oh no, I think I remember.
Yeah, that was you guys don't remember, but it was just a mess. Yeah, it was basically The Simpsons, but it was just really lazily animated and just poorly done, and it was just them wrestling each other. And all they would do was just jump and kick and punch. That's literally all they would do. It wasn't even like wrestling. It was just
okay. Yeah, it was a PlayStation game from 2001. I remember seeing the cover, and I've never touched the game, never saw how the gameplay was. just wasn't interested.
Yeah, no, it was pretty darn awful. And it would get it glitched, and it was to the point where you couldn't even play it. WWF Betrayal, that was bad. I think that was.
Hey, that's a perfect title for that game.
Yes.
Basically, you could only play as like 4 characters. I think it was just The Rock, it was Triple H, it was Austin, and The Undertaker. And I think that was it. And basically, you would have like a lot of outside interferences, and Vince McMahon would just start screaming things at you. And you always had to save Stephanie when she was kidnapped. She was always kidnapped by someone, and you'd have to save her. So that was pretty bad. Yeah. Also, does anyone remember Muscle?
Muscle.
No? NES?
I don't. Maybe Adam does.
He's Muscle.
What?
Do you remember Muscle?
That means no.
I remember the Muscle toys, the little pink guys.
Yeah, they made a video game based off of that. It was a wrestling game.
I didn't bother with that. They looked like wrestlers. A lot of them looked like wrestlers. They were little muscle figures, and they came in a little jar. It's like a can.
Yeah, they had like the kind of the weird shaped heads and stuff like that. I think it was based off an anime. But
eventually, I did have the little wrestling ring toy for it, where you would take the little muscle guy and you would strap them onto the little handle, and then they would just like bang into each other. And if they popped out of the little holder, then that's how you knew you won.
Yeah. Well, it was basically that same thing, and that's how they did it in the game. Also, WrestleMania Arcade was just god awful.
I mean, I never beat the game. I didn't play it through, whatever. It was kind of, like I said, it was a silly game. It definitely, it was more like, how to describe it?
Yeah, well, it was bad, and it was in your house.
Oh, in your house. I never played that one.
Yeah, it was really bad. It was like Vader was in it, and would have to remove your mask, and Goldust was there, but he beat you with the feather boa. And yeah, everything was like in different houses. And Owen Hart was there, but you would just struggle the whole time.
Yeah, it's too much. All right, so that's it. That's it for your picks.
That's it for my picks.
Okay, so how about you, Adam?
Of the worst ones?
Yeah.
Oh shit, there's a bunch. Let's say Def Jam Icons. That was bad. That it took everything that we liked out of the Vendetta and what you had talked about with the New York one, Fight for New York, out of it, and it just turned it into a horrible pit fighter type game. Another horrible arcade game. It was so bad. It was so bad. And I had high hopes for that one. That one was the most recent one because that was the one that wanted coming out on 360 and stuff. Backyard Wrestling, any one of those were bad.
Oh yeah.
The Backyard Wrestling one. Acclaim made some horrible ECW games. All of those were bad. All those ECW games, nothing good came out of Acclaim when it came to wrestling. So throw those all under the bus. All the Xbox, OG Xbox games were horrible. Those also, some of them, there was one, I think it was the one with Goldberg that was game breaking. Like it just did not work right out of the box. And then this is before Xbox Live, so there was no way to get a patch to it. And they were like, "Oh, we're sorry." Cricket. I was like, "Oh shit." Yeah, so those are the worst ones, man. I mean, we could add every damn 2K game that's been coming out lately, but that's nitpicking. We're talking about horrible games, like games that, don't even bother playing this. Those 2K ones, a lot of modes suck and other things, unless it's the entire game, like the Switch version. But besides that, they're still playable. You can still do a lot of fun match types. But man, that Icon sucked. All those Acclaim ECW games were horrible. The wrestling games, the Raw ones and stuff that they had on the OG Xbox were horrible. Some of Thunder, that was a horrible one. The WCW Thunder was pretty bad. Then Nitro was pretty bad. Man, I mean, there are a lot of bad wrestling games that did come out. And then now, look at us. We're in a drought. Now it's just WWE, maybe Fire Pro when it decides to come to consoles, because right now it's just on PC. But that's it. We don't really have. I'm surprised. You would think another studio someone would come out. And I saw there was a Kickstarter for one for an indie promotion. What's it called? It's escaping me now, but there is one, and it's supposed to got approved. It wasn't that much of a Kickstarter too. It was like $25,000 they needed, and they hit that goal for it. And the game looked pretty good, So we'll see. I'd like to see a Lucha Underground one. Impact made a game that wasn't too bad though. I mean, remember that's the one that had the crazy masked wrestler. What was his name? Suicide, and Suicide still makes appearances on Impact. That was the character that you played as you're trying to be the up and coming wrestler in Impact.
Oh yeah.
So there goes that. But yeah, those are my my picks of the horrible wrestling games. There was a lot of them.
Yeah, that's those are some good picks. Just like Dana had great picks as well. So how about you, Ricky?
So I'm gonna mention some that I had mentioned as good picks there because they were flawed. Again, so like No Mercy is the greatest of all time, except the one that I had because it was a buggy version. And I guess, I had a chance to enjoy the story mode, I would have felt differently about it. But I got robbed of that there. I mentioned WWE 12 because of the customization that you can do, and that was great when you were allowed to do the customizations. The problem that I had, and Rich, I think you remember this quite vividly, were that the servers were always down.
Yep.
So whenever I tried to download a Creative Wrestler, sometimes it just wouldn't do it. And when I wanted to do like cooperative games with you online, it wouldn't let me do it because the server would be down. Try again later. It was terrible. And honestly, 2K16 wasn't much better in that regard. It's same issues. I gave up on Ukes after that, for sure. Let's see. I haven't mentioned these because they're bad, but these are two Super Nintendo games, and they were WWF Super WrestleMania and WWF Royal Rumble. They had the same shitty engine, the same gameplay, and it wasn't fun really for me. It was just bleh, like just not good. And then one that was a massive disappointment because I remember the hype for this game, in Game Pro magazine and everything, online. People were talking about this is going to be the best wrestling game ever, and it completely bombed, and it was WWF Attitude.
Oh, yeah.
All the cool stuff that you could do on it, and then the game was buggy as hell, and it was a massive disappointment. Completely hated it, and yeah. But I mean, my short answer would be anything done by Ukes because they suck.
Yeah. So Ukes should be renamed to Pukes.
I think Pukes is pretty much an accurate depiction of the quality of their work. They should be ashamed of themselves. But
I agree.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is that it's unfortunate because I had a little bit of hope when 2K took the reins from THQ, because I thought this was basically a THQ problem, but it's no. But 2K is guilty of a lot of the same things. I think it's a Ukes problem. I think it's just, oh man, I don't know, man.
Well, if I could make a comparison, this is them just doing whatever they can to get by. 2K is a reputable company, obviously, so they don't feel like they need to put any effort into these games. I will say the most recent WWE games, at least the character models look a little bit more improved, but everything else is pretty horrible. But we'll see.
Can I mention real fast that the first Pukes game that I bought, was, let me see, it was.
This was a game on 360, right?
No, this was on the PlayStation 2. It was Smackdown vs Raw. Was it 2? Oh my god! It had 2006. So Smackdown, it had Batista and Cena on the cover, and I only got it because I remember, Rich, going to visit you, and your brother Reggie was playing the game. And you remember, I thought, like, wow, this is what WWE games look like nowadays. This looks pretty cool. I think I should try it myself. And that was a wasted investment. I barely played it. I didn't learn my lesson when I got WWE 12. I didn't learn my lesson when I got 2K16. But my lesson is learned. I'm never buying a game from Ukes ever again.
Ouch! That hurts.
That's how it is.
That hurts.
It's just one man's opinion.
No, I'm pretty sure a lot of people would agree with that.
I never played this game, but have any of you played Saturday Night Slam Masters? And I wonder what you think about it. Because I know that was a game that I want to say Capcom made that one.
I know I haven't.
Saturday Night Slam Masters. Like, I want to say that, that game had Hager from Final Fight. He was a wrestler in the game.
Yeah.
But, never had a chance to play it.
I haven't had a chance to play it. I do remember Hager though.
Yes.
Oh, that's interesting. I gotta see what that is. Look that up, actually. Yeah, those are some good picks. So just so I could round out the list, I actually have a lot of the same picks that you guys had. I did have In Your House, because back in the day when I had every system, but that was a reward. If we did good in school, we did good, then we would get rewarded with games, systems, so on and so forth. So yeah, In Your House, horrible game. I played a lot of horrible games. So yeah, that was one. The WCW games, the WCW games are pretty disappointing, but not as disappointing as the ECW games, because I was a huge fan of ECW. And unfortunately, they did not do a good job on pretty much all of those games. One other game I will mention, WWF Raw, because I recall when this game got announced, they were like, "Oh, this is going to look fantastic." And for the most part, graphically, the game looked good, but the gameplay was complete garbage. So that's they were worried more about the look and less about everything else. So I do remember that, and it's funny that is a game that I do have on the list, because Raw right now is also garbage. So that game and the show is very, very accurate, and I like that. But overall, and I will also give an honorable mention, because I know Adam has complained about it. I have to say WWE 2K18 on the Switch, because I cannot believe that you would make this game for Switch in the state that it is in and then not do anything to fix it at all.
Yeah.
So that right there.
In the notes, it says it's playable. They're like, oh yeah, now it's on par with the PS4, Xbox. That's some bullshit.
Yep.
We weren't expecting quality on par. We're playing. You can't even play the damn modes.
It has to be the worst game of all time. The worst wrestling game of all time. Just
worst game ever so far for Switch, and it's short life. They've already said it's the worst one they've ever had.
Yeah, because they were just thinking about the cash grab. This is we release it on Switch. That's a whole new audience. We don't. The game doesn't have to work. It doesn't have to be good. Let's just say we put it on Switch, and then that's what happened. They put it on Switch, and it is complete and utter garbage. So there you go. That's terrible.
Did any of you ever play the old World Championship Wrestling game for Nintendo?
Nintendo.
WCW. Yeah, that was an old game. Had Ric Flair. It had
Sting.
It had Sting in it. I want to say it had Michael Hayes in it. I had Rick Steiner. It was an old game. Lex Luger was in it. It wasn't very good. I'll tell you that right now. It was not very good.
At all, he said. Well, unfortunate. We'll see. Well, I believe that that's it for the negative picks. So we wanted to have that discussion because I know we've been wanting to talk about games. We will definitely have a conversation about WWE 2K19. We're trying to wait for there to be a little bit more information to talk about because there ain't really anything to talk about at the moment.
They released a release date.
Release date. Yeah. When is it?
The same window.
October?
Same thing. October.
Yeah. That's their window.
So I will say this. I will be very, very interested to see how that game does because you see all the games coming out in October this year. You got Call of Duty. You have Battlefield, which they announced the other day. And then you got Red Dead Redemption also coming out all the same month. I'll be very interested to see how that game does sales-wise against all these other heavy hitters.
No, it's going to be in the toilet, probably.
You said in the top 10?
Ha ha ha! Very funny. It'll be in the top 10 once the company buys its games up, so it can get that list.
There you go. That make a lot of sense. That's exactly what will happen.
You can look forward to either Hell in a Cell or TLC being sponsored by WWE 2K19. That's for damn sure. Plug the hell out of it.
Absolutely. And by the time the game comes out, everything will be out of date. So that's Samoa Joe will still be on Raw. They'll have Almas will still be in NXT. He won't even be called up to the main roster at that point. So yeah, you just look for that to happen. That's exactly what's
the B team will still be the Miztourage.
Yeah, that's exactly what will happen. We'll see. But I do believe that concludes our main topic. Is there anything else that you guys wanted to mention before we get ready to wrap up the show?
No, that's it. Hopefully things get better.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, so we thank you all for tuning in to tonight's show. Please feel free to leave a like on this video or leave your comments and let us know what are some of your favorite wrestling games. And you can also let us know which wrestling games you don't like as well. So Dana, do you have any shout outs that you would like to give?
Once again, shout outs to everybody who's listening, everyone who tunes in, who listens later, who listens live. Thank you very much. It's appreciated.
Absolutely. How about you, Adam? Any shout outs that you want to give?
Yeah, shout out, same thing. Shout out to everybody that's listening and watching. Shout out to everybody over on Throwdown. Everybody's getting excited for E3. A lot going on. And to all the wrestling fans, let's just keep watching and see what happens. I mean, it's a crazy time because it feels like WWE just has like a unlimited supply of money right now. So let's see what they do with it.
Absolutely. We shall see. How about you, Ricky? Any shout outs that you want to give?
Yeah, shout out to you guys here on the podcast. It's always fun to come in and shoot the shit and everything. Shout out to all of our listeners and the viewers here, and check out all the Koalition's programming. If you still like WWE, continue watching it. I don't have much hope for it, but we'll see. That's why we stay on with this kind of thing.
Absolutely. And shout out to all the fans, the Patreon supporters. Hope that everybody has a great Memorial Day weekend, and we'll talk to you all next Friday.